Hey, what is up, guys? I am back with yet my... Oh, I don't like how the camera is on this, man. That's a little better. I am back with my WrestleMania 38 Night 1 review. So, a lot of people going into this show didn't really have high expectations for it, and the card didn't really look that good, but obviously, we're going to get into that. So, starting off, I want to talk about the NXT Stand and Deliver real quick, the main event there. Really good match. Dolph Ziggler brought it. He brought his A-game, and you kind of forget how good Dolph Ziggler actually is, just due to everything that's kind of went on in his career. But, again, just an amazing performance by Dolph Ziggler. And, yeah, just awesome. Bron Breakker, he looks good. I think he needs a little variety on his moveset. I think he's only had like 30 matches, so he's got a long way to go, but he's actually pretty good regardless. But, yeah, Dolph Ziggler, he brought it. Really good match. I highly recommend people check it out because, again, if you're a fan of Dolph Ziggler, he's really, really good. And again, going with the Shawn Michaels stuff, awesome stuff there. So, WrestleMania 38 opened up with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions between the Usos, Rick Boogs, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, this match, if you ask me, was about as good as it probably could have got. I think Rick Boogs actually did get injured in the match. That's what they were saying. And then Nakamura had to go it alone for a little bit. Yeah, Nakamura was definitely carrying the bulk of the match for Rick Boogs, who I think is quite limited. I'm not sure what his experience in NXT was, or on the main roster. I've only seen him have a couple matches, and they did not go very long, so he's got a great look, very, very strong guy, but outside of that, yeah, he hit some good power moves. The Usos, again, really great. They have great energy for their matches. The crowd was into this, too. It's quite, I mean, obviously they're going to be, like, the Usos are really over, so in my opinion, they're the best tag team in the world. So, yeah, moving on from that, that was probably about as good as the match could have been. By the way, star ratings are in the description down below. I always forget to say that in the beginning if you guys want to know what I thought of the matches. So, what I star rated them. So, I just thought it was a good, solid match there. Moving on to the next match, which I believe was it Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre up next? Yeah, Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. So what this match is actually going to be remembered for is Drew McIntyre kicking out at the end of days, and that was a monster kick out because no one's ever actually kicked out at the end of days as far as I'm concerned. And that's what they said on commentary, but you don't really know because they also said Charlotte's never tapped out before. And yeah, this match again was a good match, a solid undercard match on the show, and it had a really cool spot at the end where Drew with the sword like cut off all the ropes and stuff. I thought that kind of looked pretty cool, and he had a great entrance. Again, Drew McIntyre, he's just kind of coasting through the mid card right now. He's just doing his thing, but again, a way better match than he had with Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. He definitely got a lot more time with this one, and I wouldn't say Jinder Mahal is a bad opponent, but it just didn't get given the chance to really shine the way it should have. But this match here, it had a really good match. I'd say it was definitely on par with both the Madcap and Moss matches. I think it was slightly better than that just due to that kickout, which was huge, which really just set the match apart. And yeah, I was really happy Drew getting a big win at WrestleMania. Definitely deserved. And it seems like they're going to be going with Baron Corbin versus Madcap Moss going on in the future here. And yeah, moving on, the Mysterios versus The Miz and Logan Paul. And I guess I should just start talking about Logan Paul here. Obviously, as I think I've probably said in other videos, I'm not a big Logan Paul fan, and I don't really like his celebrity, and I think there's just dumb shit that goes on with these guys all the fucking time. And yeah, I don't care about these dudes. However, he did have a great performance. He's a really good athlete, but you can just tell green as grass, boy. But yeah, The Miz definitely again carrying a bulk of the match for his side. The Mysterios again, they look really good, and they get really into these tag team matches. I kind of hope we get to see them go on and wrestle for the belts over on Raw, just because I think that'd be a really good match for Orton and Riddle if they hold them this weekend. And yeah, so this match here was probably about as good and entertaining as it could have been. I really liked the finish of the match with Miz glaring at Logan Paul and then hitting him with a skull-crushing finale. So I think next year's WrestleMania will probably be having Logan Paul versus The Miz, and Miz is going to be doing these celebrity matches. That he's going to be that guy who gets involved in this with the celebrities and stuff. Really works with his character and his gimmick, him being the A-lister and everything for him always running with the running with the celebrities and stuff. So I think it works. Last year with Bad Bunny, this year with Logan Paul, probably next year with Logan Paul too. Maybe Logan Paul brings in Jake Paul. Ugh. Gong show. But yeah, it was a lot better than it had any right to be. Logan Paul walked out with some Pikachu that's like worth a lot of money, and he wore it around his necklace or whatever. I don't know. I just don't get these people. Dude, I just don't get it. Moving on to Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. So everything I thought was fine throughout the match, but they kind of just rushed through a lot of spots, and it's just like that they're like, oh, we got to get this big move in, and then kick out of it. And it didn't really seem like a lot of the moves had a lot of time to breathe and stuff like that. That's what it really seemed like to me. And I thought, I was like, okay, this is a 4-star match. I'll call it 4 stars. This is really good stuff. I mean, the entrances for this were fucking amazing. Oh, sorry, I guess I should talk about that. The entrances for this show were really amazing. Like, Shinsuke Nakamura had a great entrance. The Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair's entrance was fucking amazing. Even Becky Lynch had an amazing entrance here. So, yeah. Oh, I guess I should also mention this. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Rey Mysterio wore the Mexican flag on his ring gear, and Dominic wore the American flag on his, because Dominic's Mexican, so I just thought that was a really cool touch there. Anyway, so moving on, back to this match. So yeah, again, I thought it just didn't have a lot of time to breathe. It was good. It was really good. And then finally the finish happened, and this is where I'm like, no, I don't like this. I don't like the end of this match, because Becky hit a manhandle on Bianca on the steel steps, and then she's going for like a 10 count, and then Bianca Belair gets up like at 9, just rushes back in the ring, and I can't remember if it's like some shit happened, and then Becky goes for another manhandle, and Bianca just explodes out of it, like complete, just anime power-up scene, backflips, hits the KOD, and wins the match, and then she's just up celebrating, flinging her hair around. I love Bianca Belair, but lady, like, sell something. Come on. Don't fucking, like, I get it. Like, I love, like, the Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania, even after, like, they had all the shit with his arms, and then he's, like, celebrating, doing the yes chant at the end. I mean, I'll forgive that because it's the main event of WrestleMania, and it was such a huge moment. I didn't like it, but I'll forgive it. This is not the main event, and it's just, like, I think she could have just sold that she was in a fight a lot better. It just seemed like, oh, none of the moves had any real impact, and you just got this big win. I wish you would have sold it just a lot. It's just, it needed a bit more breathing space than I think was what they gave it, to put it simply. So next up here, I want to start by saying this, but I think the highest rated star match on my channel is probably Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley from last year's WrestleMania. I gave that 4.5 stars. I thought the match was absolutely amazing, and just a great fucking match. And this next match topped it. I was really close. I was back and forth, but I gotta give it to this match here. Seth Rollins, built this show up great. This show had just such an amazing build to it, and with Seth Rollins, he made WrestleMania seem like the biggest deal ever, and he would do anything to get on the show. And then he had his mystery opponent. We all knew who the mystery opponent was, but still, it was absolutely amazing to see Cody motherfucking Rhodes make his return as the American Nightmare in his AEW gimmick and look and everything like that. Came out dressed exactly like that. Same entrance theme, same everything, and right there, just mint. It was mint. It was really amazing for WWE to actually do that and give this man the time to just go out there and have a classic at WrestleMania, and it was, and this was just such an amazing match here. It just started off with actual wrestling moves, and like it came off like a wrestling match for the longest time in a competition between the two guys, and man, there was just some amazing athleticism between both guys here. Oh, I absolutely just loved this match. It's just the same. I was kind of tired during it, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Because the show was kind of pretty long at that point. It really seemed like it. But yeah, this match was just off the fucking chain. I gave it 4 3/4. I couldn't go all the way with the 5-star, but 4 3/4, baby. This was it. And like the ending with Cody hitting the bionic elbow and all the crossroads, and yeah, just the counters out of the pedigree, and oh my gosh, this was a really mint match, and I absolutely love this match. So I got to go 4 3/4 on it. That's how much I actually really like this match. So next up, I don't know what the fuck to say about this match. The Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, she has a lot of intensity to her, and she has that jump when she's getting all fired up and stuff, which looks really good. I just don't like her as a person, so it was kind of hard for me to decide who I was cheering for, because I don't think really anyone knows what to make of this. It's Ronda's supposed to be the good guy, but I don't really like her, and I don't really want to cheer for Charlotte or against her. I just don't really know what to make of either of these people. So yeah, it just seemed like a really weird scenario to be in. And yeah, the match itself was it was a good match. I don't think it was as good as their Survivor Series match from 2018. I think it was 2018, yeah. I don't think it was as good as that match. I mean, it was a good match. It was just it was not on that level, I guess you would say. And the ending of it was really weird. They had some good counters out of the submissions and stuff. Those came off really cool, but the ending with Charlotte just hitting a boot on her and then just getting the 3 count. The boot looked good, but it's just a boot, really. Okay, moving on. So next up we had the KO show, and this is the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin, perhaps the greatest performer in Raw history. Some people call him the greatest of all time. I consider Bret Hart the greatest of all time, or The Undertaker. I can't really put Stone Cold that high up there. Not that I couldn't put him in the top 10, but I couldn't put him above Shawn Michaels or people like that who had a super longevity career, and they spam. So I can't really put them above that just because he was such a megastar. Because if that's the case, we have to put Hulk Hogan at number 1. Either or, this is not what that's about. This is about the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he looked like a 60-year-old man out there. I'm just going to say that. And I understand the match. It was a lot of fun watching Stone Cold go out and throw hands with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens sold his ass off for him. And yeah, they brawled through the crowd. Stone Cold got some hydration going. He got some brewers. He was enjoying it. He was living it up. And yeah, Kevin Owens hit a Stone Cold Stunner on him. Steve Austin kicked out. It's really fitting that they went with Kevin Owens for with the Stunner, because then he actually got to have matches with Steve Austin. So that's really, really cool. And yeah, this was everything as epic and amazing as it was. The crowd just hung on every bit to this, and yeah, it was about as awesome as it could have been. Now, there's always the arguments about how you rate these kind of matches, like Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, those kind of matches. But I'd say this was good. I can't rate it any higher than 3.5 stars, because you could say it's a 5-star match because of how well it drew and how amazing it was to see Steve Austin back and just how into it the crowd was. You could say that, but also, I have to acknowledge he didn't really look he looked like a 6-year-old man with bad knees and a bad neck. That's the best way to put it, because I could tell he definitely had slowed down. Not his fault. Doesn't deserve to have any of that held against him. But I'm just saying, yeah, you could tell they did everything they could to because Steve Austin was really limited with what he could do. And I'm on the side. I think this was a really good match and an awesome main event to a WrestleMania. So, yeah, awesome stuff here. A great segment. Great entrance for Steve Austin, by the way. And when he came out wearing the knee braces, I was like, oh no. Please don't die. And then he got suplexed out on the concrete, and I was like, ooh. And especially he had suffered a lot of injuries and stuff in his career, so yeah. Anyways, let's get into the overall talk of the show. So overall, I actually have this show on par with last year's Night 2 of WrestleMania. I have it at 9 out of 10 because it was just such a great show. You're not going to see another show like this. I consider WrestleMania 30 a 10 out of 10, but this is a 9 out of 10 because I could even go 9.5. Ooh. Because where else are you going to see Steve Austin get a return, Cody Rhodes have a huge return, and then just a really solid undercard with matches and just really huge star power? This was a really excellent show, and everything on it delivered in its own way. So yeah, just an amazing show here. Let's hope Night 2 can carry the ball as well. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the show, and peace out, guys.